Hit that like button. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I should be a singer. I should go ahead and just sing on this. I should go in the back. My brother got a studio. I should go back there and lay a track, man. I should go back there and lay a track. Hit that like button. I'm gonna let a few more people come in. We talking about Ruby Franke. This is the Mo You Know. I'm MoeDotJ. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and cut that. What up? What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm MoeDotJ. This is the Mo You Know, and we're talking about Ruby Franke and her fall from YouTube to a jailhouse. Now, I didn't know much about this, and of course, I'm gonna go through all of it with you all today. We're gonna break it down. We got some footage, we got some police phone calls, we got a few things on the docket today pertaining to Ruby Franke, another monster. And as you can see, who we have on display here in the thumbnail, it's one of the. I'll let you decide and determine where I'm going with that. But as you can see, we're going to be highlighting a lot of their mishaps because a lot of it is swept up under the rug in the national media. So here locally, we'll talk about it. This is Ruby Franke's story on how she fell from YouTube to the jailhouse, because I definitely never, ever, ever, ever heard about her or her YouTube channel. So even with the million subscribers, we still don't know who these people are. You know what I'm saying? We got 171 over here. We trying to get to 200 subscribers. Guess what? She got a million subscribers, and now a million more plus 171 people are going to know about the Ruby Franke story. So we're going to jump into this. We're going to go through the timeline. I'm going to give you guys the details on what happened. We're going to try to connect the dots like we always do, and just try to figure out what the hell's going on in this situation. Because I think her YouTube channel was like a passenger of 8 or something like that. Let's find out. Let's find out what this woman is saying. And of course, you guys do know I'm transitioning back into the work field. So I got to be careful with the words that I say. But until then, a nigga can be a nigga. You know what I mean? Until then, I can be Mo. All right. So we can go ahead and jump into this. This is Ruby Franke. Uh, man, we got back to back today. We got the Mo You Know. And then after this, we're going to take like a 30-minute, maybe an hour break. We're going to jump on Tubi. Then we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go, hang out with the fam. Then we go take a break. We're gonna watch Power. And then we're gonna talk about the first reaction to episode 3. So it's a pretty busy day. And let me tell you, I'm working. I'm doing this for y'all. I don't know nobody that work harder than me. Well, just for right now. Just for right now. Just for right now. Kendall, I can't. See, right now I don't have to think about nothing. I can just let it flow. But since these are serious situations, most of the time I'm pretty good with being respectable when it comes to these type of situations. I'm not, if we talking about TV shows, I can talk reckless on TV shows. But when it comes to real life situations, I do scale it back. I try to minimize the jokes. It's tough, but I try to minimize from the jokes, especially when it's pertaining to kids. Now, if you didn't know, I put Monster up here because we have another instance of one of them doing what they do to children. Now, we've seen a drunk teacher, we've seen a teacher assault a child, and now we're seeing this mother. I think she's of 8. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. But we see this mother on here, and it happens more than you think. It actually happens more in their community than ours. It just ours is documented a little bit more. But that's why we had this channel. It's the Mo You Know. So let's go ahead and jump into this timeline. Let's go ahead and jump into this timeline. Hey, Torian, I'm gonna drop the link in a second. I got a speaking code, but you guys know, man, that ain't me, man. I don't. When I'm professional, I'm at work. But when I'm here, I just want to enjoy. I want to talk to us where we can understand it. Not saying I'm dumbing it down, but I'm just trying to simplify it so we all can understand, so that a child can be like, Mom, I want to watch Mo. Mo is hella good. Son, what did you just say? He's hella good. What does that even mean? That means he's very good at what he does, father. Let me check this channel. Oh, no, you can't. Well, this guy is kind of interesting. He has a lot of information that I can use. The more you know. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's go ahead and jump into this timeline over at people.com so we can understand fully what's going on right now in this situation. All right, here we go. Drop this link for Torian. All right, here we go. A timeline for Ruby Frank's rise and fall from family vlogger to child of charges. Parenting advice podcasters Ruby Frank and Jody Hallenbrandt were both arrested. Two people were arrested. Let's look up. We got another suspect right here. Jody Hildenbrandt. I don't know. Just Jody. Fuck it. Well, never mind. This might be actually a little longer than 2 hours because we're getting stories from Jody Hildenbrandt's niece. Oh man. All right, let's get back over to Ruby Frank's story and then we'll tie in Jody. All right. Parent advice podcasters Ruby and Jody were both arrested and charged with felony in August. So this is from September 13th, yesterday. This is Ruby. What up, Michael? This is Ruby here. Photo from Moms of Truth Instagram. Moms of Truth Instagram. Let me see. Do they even have it up? Moms of Truth, Jody and Ruby. 335,000. Let's see what the comments got to say. Read your relationship of transactions, manipulation, and deceptive motives. Rid yourself. Let me see. Have fun doing your podcast in jail. Really effing duct tape on your youngest son tied up. I'm so glad he did what he did. I'm so happy Russell brought justice for everyone. Now, what they're talking about, Russell, I think this is the son because I have the audio from the police call where I think this is who they're talking about, Russell escaping. So we have all of that. This right here is a movie. This would be put into a movie. Ruby and Jody have been arrested. Moms of jail. How's it feeling in jail right now? Justice has been served. Praise the God. Is jail a place of distortion? All right, so bet they're all on the same timing as us. All right, family vlogger Ruby Frank amassed millions of followers on social media while documenting her family's life in the lakeside suburb of Springville, Utah, over the years. Well, we know a thing or two about Utah. Mick Romney's out there and he ain't running again. But that's because he says he's old. But over the years. But since 2020, skeptics of Frank and her husband, Kevin, 8 passengers page, began to grow worried about the Mormon family and their strict household. Yeah. Frank initially slammed her critics, according to the rap, and remained steadfast about her and her husband's stern parenting style, sharing videos explaining how she take away a child's bed as punishment. Well, wait, whoa. Explaining how she take away a child's bed as punishment or withholding meals as a teaching lesson. Now, I'm not behind this child's bed. Now that's punishment right there. That's child neglect. So she took away the child's bed or withholding meals as a teaching lesson. No, you don't withhold a child's meal. Now you withhold snacks until they eat their meal. Now I agree with that. No snacks until you eat your meal. Withholding meals as a teaching lesson. How does she amass millions of subscribers and followers if they seen her admitting to taking a child's bed as punishment and withholding meals? How could you even watch somebody like that and then try to get advice from them? That right there already, that explains why I put monster. Took a child's bed for punishment. I get it if we going outside in the backyard and pitching a tent with sleeping bags, or we're all making a pallet downstairs watching movies and sleeping on the couch. But taking away a bed as punishment, let's continue. Frank, now 41, ultimately caved to the public pressure and stopped posting videos on her controversial 8 passengers vlog, then joined the Connaissance. All I see is con. That's all I see. Join the Cons Parenting Advice Podcast with a local Mormon therapist, Jody. So Jody is a therapist who allegedly tied up her niece. Jody's niece breaks her silent on abuse. So she's a Mormon therapist. And not only is Frank Ruby, we're not going to call her Ruby, we're going to call her Dirt. Dirt Frank and Jody. Man, this is a perfect storm right here. Um, the two women had more backlash across social media by posting videos of their devised thoughts on parenting, religion, sexuality, race, and other social and political issues. The videos were often mocked and picked apart by critics who used other social media pages to respond directly to the Khan's posts. Okay, so there were people out here that already picked up on it. So this is why the ongoing abuse is going on. People are calling them out for everything that they're doing. When Dirt Frank and Jody 50, so Jody is 54, were arrested last month and charged with felony child abuse. Those critics, as well as a growing number of family members, friends, and neighbors, have spoken out, saying the news was a long time coming, even if she found the level of alleged abuse to be shocking. So friends and family members and neighbors all knew that this was going on, but they never did anything. Now, I think it's when the son Russell actually escaped, and that's when everything came to the light. But from what I'm seeing here, family members, friends, and neighbors have spoken out saying the news was a long time coming, meaning they knew it was coming, but they didn't know when it was coming. It was just a long time coming. See, we talking in the real world right now. You don't have to pause none of these moments. Here's what led up to Ruby Frank and Jody's arrest in recent court appearances. Dirt and Kevin began a passenger's vlog in 2015. So 2015, all right. Dirt and her husband Kevin began documenting their life as parents to 6 children in 2015, posting vlogs of the now deleted 8 Passengers YouTube channel. According to Insider, the Frank family amassed 2.5 million followers on the page, which came under scrutiny around 2020 and has since been deleted by YouTube in the wake of Frank's arrest last month. So wait a minute. YouTube. No disrespect to YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to YouTube. That's the label that pays me. But 2015, they started 8 Passengers. Came under scrutiny 5 years later. Arrested in 2023. So all the videos that I get blocked by YouTube while I'm doing them, but for the last 7, 8 years, they've been up, and YouTube didn't delete their channel until 2023 when they were arrested. But none of their videos or anything were getting blocked. But if I get on here and curse, my shit gets flagged yellow in the first 20 seconds of the video. Hell, sometimes my streams get stopped. But you mean to tell me for 8 years they've been on here talking about this and YouTube didn't do nothing until they got arrested? I'm just saying, YouTube. Holla at stars and tell stars to fall back, man. All I'm doing is talking about the trailer. Tell stars to fall back. Tell HBO, I know y'all number one in lost subscribers. Fall back, man. We got real world issues going on here. Man, I ain't making but a couple $100 off these videos. Y'all making M's. But we got this going on, and YouTube says shit. For 8 years, you can go ahead and keep yours up. But Mo, you better not talk about no TV shows. Damn. All right. So 2015 is when they started. Exactly, Eric. The evidence that was on the channel, all the confessions, unless people got screen grabs, all of that is gone. They deleted the channel, it's terminated. Unless they turned over that information to the law. Now, we got to give YouTube and Google their credit. They will work with law enforcement. So they probably did turn over the whole channel to the law. So we'll see. We'll see in the coming days. So here we go. Followers began suspicious, become suspicious about abuse and began petitioning authorities in 2020. In 2020, numerous of people signed an online petition. Let's see what this petition is. Asking CPS to investigate the Frank family. The petition cited a number of controversial videos that Frank uploaded on her family's 8-passenger page, including one in which Frank's oldest son, Chad, says his mother took his bed away from him for 7 months after he played a prank on his sibling. I was sleeping on a beanbag since October, the teenager tells the camera as his mother laughs. What? She took the bed away from him for 7 months for a prank? I was sleeping on a beanbag since October. The teenager tells the camera and his mother laughs. Let me see. So this started in May 30th of 2020. See, and it was just swept up under the rug. They only got 239 signatures. They needed 500. If we would have known this back then, we would have put this up on the channel. The mama six, Ruby Franke, has shown signs of being neglectful and abuse towards her children. Many of us think we see signs of abuse on their social media accounts, and we would like the Utah Child Protective Services and similar to investigate, check in on their home life. So it's not like it was going unnoticed. It just wasn't that big of a deal. And it took a while. But this is what friends, families, and neighbors were saying, that it was a long time coming. Because in May of 2020, they initiated a damn petition. But the friends, the families, they didn't say anything. No one ever spoke up. They just told us they seen it. It was a long time coming, but no one spoke up. But in 2020, there were people online that were watching it. The Galaxy. Let me see if we can see who this is. Snell Galaxy. Can someone, let me see. Snell Galaxy. Who are they? Change.org. All right, I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna find out who this Galaxy is, and see if they got like a YouTube channel or something where they do stuff. Give them a shout out for at least being one of the people to first pick it up. All right. And another resurfaced clip. Here we go. We need that resurfaced clip.
So what debauchery behavior are we discussing today?
We call her Dirt Frank. She had over 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Up since 2015. There's been people speaking out about potential neglect and abuse. YouTube kept the channel up from 2015 to 2023 until the day she was arrested. Evidence is gone. Her and a 54-year-old Mormon therapist have both been allegedly charged with neglect and abuse of children. Both are in jail now. She took away her son Chad's bed for 7 months as punishment. She withheld meals from the children as punishment. So right now we're just following the timeline, and then we're going to get into the police audio, and we're just looking at all of the evidence. So
Oh, so basically she's a raw unseasoned bitch.
you said it. I didn't, but I agree.
Okay.
In another resurfaced clip, Frank records herself explaining, I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today. Frank then says she told the teacher she refused to bring her then 6-year-old daughter her lunch as a teaching lesson, and that she should just go on needing to be hungry.
Damn.
And then she says, hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch, because then she's not going to learn from the natural outcome. Frank tells it. Hopefully there's no music in this. Let's see what this lady's talking about. I know it's going to be everything we said, but let's see her, hear and see how she sounds. Damn, man, might have music on here. Ruby Doo. Oh, they call her Ruby Doo. I like that. Ruby Doo refuses to bring Eve lunch. Let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna mute the video, y'all. Let me see if she talks. All right, here we go. I'm gonna try my best. If the stream stops, we'll be right back.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch, because then she's not going to learn from the natural outcome. My hope is that she'll be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful being hungry all day. I will make sure to always have a lunch with me.
What? They said the kid was actually 5 years old at the time. And she's saying that the kid needs to make lunch in the morning and remember to. That's not what a 5-year-old is supposed to do. A 5-year-old is just supposed to get up and remember how to count and do his ABCs. She said she wasn't going to bring the kid lunch.
Now you see why I call it raw and unseasoned. There's a host of other things I could call it too, but I'm going to try to keep it as clean as possible, even though I did call her a female dog. And that's putting it lightly.
Hold on, let me.
Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease.
You should be uncomfortable with your daughter not having a lunch.
What kind of person? I can't even bring myself to call this individual a person. They are a whole entity that look like they was born out of the petri dish filled with primordial ooze. That's what she was born out of. That egg from Power Rangers Avenues. That woman was not born. She was hatched.
Dog, she said the teacher feels uncomfortable because her daughter doesn't have a lunch. You don't feel uncomfortable about this? And the natural outcome is the mom is supposed to take care of the kid. You got this big ass passenger van, drop the kid off with some lunch. If she told you she did her lunch, you always got to check a kid. They're going to lie to you. Hell, she probably thought she did a lunch and was thinking of yesterday. She's 5 years old, 6 years old.
Yeah, I don't like stories like these. These stories always make me feel some type of way.
My dad got a new truck, and you know what it says on the dashboard? Because kids are kids. When my dad opens up his truck, once he turns the truck off, it tells him to check the back seat. I was like, damn, that's good, because people accidentally leave kids in there, but it's your responsibility as the adult, the parent, to make sure that the kid is safe. And she just on here just talking about it casually. Oh, I'm not bringing. She had time to pull over and record her saying that she's not bringing her daughter a lunch when she could have just brought the kids some lunch or told the teacher, "Hey, I'll pay you and you buy the kids some lunch or something."
Ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch, because then she's not going to learn from the natural outcome. My hope is that she'll be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful being hungry all day. I will make sure to always have a lunch with me.
So she wants the kid to remember, oh, I didn't have lunch today. So she's going to remember to pack a lunch tomorrow.
That is, it's so many words I have for this that I can't even formulate all of them right now, because then I'm gonna start rambling.
And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Okay.
And how many kids they said they had?
So it's a passenger 8. So it's her husband, and 6 kids. But I don't know if the husband has anything to do. But I know Eric said he wanted to hear from the ex-husband. So hopefully we'll find that out. And that's what we're here for, to do a little dig. Yeah. Let's see. Ruby stops 8 passengers vlog and joins connections. I don't know what the hell, connections in 2022. Initially, Frank dismissed her critics and told The Wrap in a 2021 interview, we need to see who The Wrap is, in a 2021 interview, that she was simply demonstrating what a responsible mother looks like with her divisive vlog. However, by the next summer, Frank had stopped uploading videos to the channel and announced she was splitting off from the family's page to join Hillebrandt's Connections Pride. The two also began their mom the truth. This Instagram page here where everyone's saying, how is it going to be in jail? Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. What? Who is this? Get this out of here.
At first, I thought you was making stuff up. I didn't even know that was a comment.
Oh my gosh, they were duct taped. This aged poorly, jail. So everyone's on their Instagram and they're going in. Have fun doing your podcast in jail. This is my favorite one right here. We'll like that. And then really effing duct taped on your youngest son tied up. I'm so glad he did what he did. So I got the audio from that one. Okay. So this was in 2021, where she said she was demonstrating during the pandemic. Whole time my videos were getting flagged and deleted on YouTube. Hell, I had to reuse content and lost 4 million views because I deleted all my videos because YouTube didn't tell me, but they allowed this to be up.
Oh, I could tell you some stories about some of the stuff that this platform has left up on there that people have called out. And then when they got called out, they had to do like a quick cover up to get it off the platform. If you want to know why a lot of their monetization policies have changed, it's stuff like this. That's one of them anyway.
Yeah, I just want to know. I wasn't violating anything, so why was I punished when the whole time they were doing? There's neither here or there, because like I said, YouTube is the label that pays me. Shout out to Google AdSense. But YouTube also confirmed to people it had taken down the woman's connection page, but some resurfaced clips show Frank downplaying the seriousness of eating disorders, blaming our victims, and criticizing U.S. immigrants alongside Heldenbrandt's, among other social and political comments that drew eerie of many viewers.
If you end up pregnant, then you had sex first. Or if you were pregnant, you were taken advantage of. And what did you do to put yourself in this situation where you're being taken advantage of?
So that was the blaming the victims, downplaying the seriousness of eating disorders. Well, I tell you, TikTok got everything.
Doing. She
I
just
try,
knows she's getting a hit by not.
You said what?
I try to stay off of TikTok because it's a lot going on over on that platform. Way too much, if you ask me.
Yeah, hey Kendall, thanks for the pause on that. Too raw for Nah, I ain't too raw for YouTube. Man, I look, I'm respectable. I don't disrespect anybody on this channel. You know what I'm saying? I try not to offend anybody. I just talk about TV shows. And all I'm giving y'all is what I'm reading. I'm not making anything up. Come on, YouTube, holla at your boy, man.
Doing. She just knows she's getting a hit by not eating, and she's getting a hit by lying about it. And
Hush.
you are so easily fooled that you go along with it. So what you need to do is get big and say, no, I know exactly what's going on here. I will not be lied to. And then her world needs to get really, really small. I don't know if she's involved in a friend group. I don't know if she's part of you said she's not part of sports. I don't know if she's part of any extracurricular group. I don't know if she's doing after school things. I don't know what she's involved in, but you need to know more about where your daughter.
Hey, Torian, keep that keyboard loud as hell, brother.
Oh my bad.
Hey man, I was like, is this on the show?
Oh my bad. I didn't even realize I wasn't even muted. My bad.
Hey, I'm like, damn, when he typing an essay over there, ain't he?
My bad.
I thought it was the video. I'm like, what is it? My bad, y'all. But what did I tell y'all in the passenger van? She's 5 years old. They're gonna lie, man. You gotta always double check. It's a kid. It's a kid. And she's saying that she hits the kids for lying. She hits the kids for not eating.
Is you need to know who she's around. You need to know what other influences are coming into her life. I would get her off of the smartphone, off of the phone, off of the internet, because all of those are sources that endorse and enable and encourage the lack of eating. They are sources of distortion and lust. Your daughter is being very controlling. This is a control issue. She's trying to control her identity. She's trying to control her pain. She's trying to control her who she is. She's so lost, and that would.
What? Yeah, she's trying to control her identity. It's her identity. But she's not trying to lie to you and control your world or anything. What is this lady talking about?
I'm getting Mormon vibes from her.
She's a Mormon.
But there you go. I hate to say
they
it,
in Utah Mormons too.
Oh yeah. Look, Utah is the Mormon haven. That's the capital. And I hate to say it, I don't want to speak against anybody's religion, but Mormons have a lot of weirdos in it. And I know from experience of being around them at a very young age, unexpectedly.
I read a little bit of the Book of Mormon, but I don't know much about it.
Well, this must be the modern. Well, this must be the modern Mormon. The thing is, like when I say when I was around them, is because I was a part of this. I guess you could say this production, and it was some of them that was in that production. It was a family of like 5 of them, and they were weird every time they came to the rehearsal. I'll put it that way.
I had a homeboy that was Mormon. I think he was Mormon for like 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm. What was his experience? If he told you,
shit, I might just call him up and see. Let me see if he's free. I'll just let him know. I mean, he like to me since I knew him before he became a Mormon. He's not Mormon anymore, but shit, I mean, I used to ask him what they do at the Mormon church. Like it's really like a regular church, so it's probably. I mean. I'm sure they're normal and they do their own thing. She's just one of the rare ones. But this just don't sound right at all, man. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. She criticizing U.S. Well, might as well see what she got to say about them also.
And these people are not victims, by the way. I just want you to see that. The people who are...
So this is the other lady. This is the therapist. This is Jody.
Mm-hmm.
And her niece allegedly said that she was duct tape.
Wow.
So this is the Connections podcast here, I guess. With Ruby on the goddamn right. And then we got Jody on the left. Now she's supposed to be a Mormon therapist.
Coming across the border illegally, they know what they're doing is illegal. It's illegal, like stealing stuff from a store, illegal. They're coming into America illegally. And so they're not victims. So don't.
First of all, why are they sitting on the same couch? Like, hey, get your own cushion, man. We not sharing this is a 3-seat couch. We not sharing one cushion.
And not only like sitting on that couch where it could be some space, because it is a big couch. Like, why are they sitting so close together? But look at how she's sitting. Like how she's sitting, like it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's like something you see in a movie. You know, it'd be
This
like
looks like this looks like a Jordan Peele production.
It really does. That's like she's looking there all evil while she's talking. Hey man, for real, this is disturbing. Just them sharing the couch cushion. Get on your. I mean, I'm not sharing. We ain't Betsy. I can't share no couch unless we in a packed environment. Like, I'm not sitting with my business partner on the same. Someone sitting right next to me. Sit up there on the side of the couch on that. Don't sit right next to me. I want the cushion. This is a pause moment, but I want the cushion to form around my body. Pause. You know what I mean?
Kendall besties or something else.
Ooh, 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 ooh. I want the cushion on my body. I don't want to share the cushion where half my butt is down, pause, and the other one is, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, scoot over. No, we're not doing that. And we're not sitting here with these damn, I think, what's that pastor's name? That rich pastor.
Osteen.
Yeah, with the damn the earpiece, man. Get
Joel.
these motherfuckers out of here, man.
Joel
watching
Osteen.
this shit.
If you just allow yourself to come into the kingdom of God, you will be blessed. He always creeped me out too, because he always talks with that hick accent and that wide joker grin. Just come into the God and you shall be blessed.
Now they talking about all the things that these immigrants that are doing illegally. Whole time y'all had this whole thing. The whole show was illegal. The whole show, everything y'all talking about is illegal. That's why y'all in jail now. It's always those, man. The ones that can't admit their faults. The ones that think they're better than everyone else. The ones that always have the advice are the ones you got to watch out for. Man, ain't this something? Let's hear what these fools got to say.
Don't feel sorry for the people who are being moved around the country. But there's other comments.
Don't feel bad for those that are moved around the country. They were probably moving kids around the country too, allegedly.
From the other side who are allowing these borders to be open when they're in front of their house. They're like, this is so horrible that you are demoralizing human beings and using them as political pawns. It's like, no, you want them in here so you can use them as a political pawn so that they'll vote for you and all sorts of other reasons you want them in here. You're using them as a political pawn.
That's what DeSantis was doing. He's putting literally in front of where Biden lives. Here.
Look how big this couch is. That's about the same size of the couch that I'm on right now, man. Ain't no way. We got different camera angles, man. I'm sitting over here.
And she got that weak bonsai tree sitting right there. They ain't fooling me.
So wait, what are they? Are they left or are they right? Because they're talking about DeSantis sending immigrants up to the White House. Well, DeSantis didn't do that. I know Texas did that a couple times. Oh,
DeSantis did too.
Oh, he did? Oh, he sent them up to the vice president.
Yeah, the ones that came through like Cuba or something like that. That's of course, Cuba's more closer to Florida. He sent them up there. And the ones who came through Texas, Abbott, the governor of Texas, sent them to New York and Chicago.
Okay. Well, you see, Florida is in shambles right now. They actually need all the immigrants because they lose.
Some of the insurance companies down there pulled out of Florida because of DeSantis, rather I could say draconian policies.
Yeah, I'm following that closely also. All of them are about to go down.
Literally in front of where Biden lives. Here are your choices.
Here are your choices. Here they are.
Let me
There's
reflect to you.
Juan and Jose and Esmeralda.
And they're all there. And then they say,
Wait
they
a minute.
don't
Her last name is
responsibility for their
Hildebrandt.
choices. And so they
Her last name is Hildebrandt. Where is her family from?
No, I don't know. We're gonna look up.
Hildebrandt. I'm gonna look Hildebrandt.
flip it and say, you're doing this to me.
And
So-
they use their mind, they use their intellect, their language, their power, positions of power to say, how dare you do this to these poor people?
Yeah.
That's
So
the lie.
Hildebrandt is from the place where you will be going to relocate, Germany.
Hildebrandt. And shout out to the Hildebrandt family. Not her family, but the Hildebrandt family. They probably from like East Germany, though. Probably close to the wall, the Berlin Wall. All right, let's continue on. So all that led up to here. Ruby and Jody are arrested on August 30th, 2023. Insider and local news reported that Frank and Hildebrandt were arrested on child A-word charges August 2023. Officers of Santa Clara Public Safety Department responded to Hildebrandt's home in Ivins, Utah, after a neighbor called 911 to report that Frank's alleged emancipated 12-year-old
Emaciated?
allegedly emaciated 12-year-old boy knocked at his door and asked for help. Now, we got that audio. So this is where we're at now. We got the 911 audio. Let me see.
This kid has obviously been.
Long crime.
I think he's been.
What up,
He's
Tracy?
been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
We're taking a closer look at the case of Ruby Franke, the YouTuber mom now accused of child abuse. For the first time, we're hearing the chilling 911 call and emergency radio communications after Franke's son escaped from her business partner's home and was found emaciated with open wounds.
And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid.
That 911 call came in just before 11 a.m. on August 30th. A neighbor in Ivins, Utah, a remote area about 4 hours south of Salt Lake City, reported a 12-year-old boy showed up at his house asking for help.
911, the address of your emergency. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The caller then references problems at the neighbor's home before explaining the boy arrived looking emaciated with duct tape around his wrist.
That's the home?
You see, like that don't even look like a home. It looked like a compound, like a mini compound. And it's all deserted, literally in a desert.
Down at the damn mountain basin.
And ankles.
We know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
Officials later determined the boy's mother is Ruby Franke, the YouTuber behind the 8 Passengers channel. Once boasting more than 2 million subscribers, the channel is now defunct after being terminated.
My gosh, you guys, having kids is so much fun.
On her YouTube channel, Franke documented the lives of her 6 children and husband, Kevin, recording.
So this is right here. It's a young gentleman that got free. This is the brother that had his bed taken away from him. I don't know which one of the daughters was the one at school that didn't bring the lunch.
You know what's going to end up happening, Mo? They going to make a movie about it.
That's what I said, man. This is a movie, man.
It's probably going to be on Lifetime or something like that.
Hey, man, Lifetime got to give up the. Hey, I get it, Lifetime, but we need major production behind these films. Shout out to Lifetime, but we need major production behind these films, man. Lifetime, Hallmark, we not, I can say it now. Lifetime and Hallmark, we not trying to see y'all movies. Give the. Hey, Let somebody else take these movies, man. Let somebody else do these movies for us. Y'all just stick to the facts.
Videos about everything from home renovations to back to school shopping. But Frankie's strict mothering tactics came under fire long before her arrest.
And my kids are literally starving. I hesitate to say this because it's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
In the past, Frankie had addressed critics, saying she wouldn't stop mothering her way.
Man, this is hideous.
Oh, the thing on the screen?
Hideous. This is a classic Monday mistake right here. Are those real teeth? Is that like her gum put in? Like,
those are her teeth, I think.
Like I understand, hey, y'all get y'all chores done, then you can eat. But if they are literally starving, meaning they probably haven't did their chores in a while, come on, man.
Now I want to know how she was raised.
Probably wasn't like this.
Yeah, I want to know what mind state her parents are in, assuming they're still alive.
Well, that's what today is for. We're gonna find out who our parents are.
Online who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in hell, as I have told, or disappear off the face of the earth. And I'm not going anywhere.
But it was Frankie's own son who requested 911 be called.
And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid. This kid has obviously been, I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
First responder radio communications captured the moments after this 911 call came into dispatch.
Murphy said a 12-year-old male showed up with tape around his legs Thursday asking for help, said he was afraid, asking for police. Never, he gave the name of Russell Franke, unknown date of birth, or he did give us the date of birth, but I'm not showing any Russells in Stillman. I'll keep looking into that. The RP said he left through the porch of the neighbor's house.
First responders can then be heard discussing the boy's wounds, saying he has sores all over his body.
Does have duct tape around each ankle. He's not telling the RP why, and said that there's sores around his wrists and ankles. He's becoming, or correction, the RP is becoming emotional.
Then, for the first time, Ruby Franke is mentioned by name.
Sorry, the RP said that he left from a neighbor's, Jody Hildebrand, in Ivan's 54-year-old female. Not sure if they're related. When asking the RP's parents info, he said his mom is Ruby Franke, unknown where she lives.
First responders also mentioned Jody Hildebrand, whose home Frankie's son escaped from. Frankie and Hildebrand have a past relationship, collaborating on parenting videos.
So the kid was duct taped up at her house.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, is that the house that they were sitting on the couch at?
Shoot, for all we know, the kid could have been duct taped at the house while they were making that video. We just
exactly. That's why I want to know, was it at this house? Because Eric said this house. I'm gonna look for the pictures of this house, but they said it looked like a crime. I mean, not a crime. Like a prison. So I don't know if it's at. If they were saying it's at Jody's house or at Ruby's house.
It probably looked like a regular house on top of maybe a prison or a dungeon below.
Now there was a story that that family that had all those kids. The story where the daughter got out and she called the police, and then they took her back to the house and arrested everybody. That's similar to how this story was. They had like the kids chained to the bunk beds.
Mm-hmm.
Man, these kind of stories. I don't really like talking about these kind of stories.
Do you have an address for that, Jody? Tampa 8.
Anytime you think I want, fill in the blank, I don't care what it is.
On that same couch cushion again. See, we need to see if this is the house that the young boy was in. Because like you said, she could be bringing the kids over here and tying them up while they go out there and do their live as a punishment. You know what I mean?
Exactly. These heifers are sick. I'm gonna say something else.
That is not love. Love is a gift that you offer because you have generated it inside yourself. And how do
Why
you
they playing the sad
generate
music?
love? Well, the only way to generate love is you use your agency to choose principles of truth.
First responders then mention the boy's siblings who are still back at the home.
He's also saying that there's two of his sisters are back at the home as well.
Officials say when they arrived to the scene, investigators went to a nearby home, finding other children in similar conditions.
Was it just his sisters there, or when they say other kids, was it his sisters and other kids from the community?
Who are still back at the home.
He's also saying that there's two of his sisters are back at the home as well.
Officials say when they arrived to the scene, investigators went to a nearby home, finding other children in similar conditions. In all, 4 children were eventually taken to the department.
So it
I've
was.
seen that movie, Tracy.
What up, Tamika? So it was him, his 2 sisters, and then another child. Because they said it was 4 kids altogether. That might be Jody's niece that was talking. Well, let's just see. Let me not jump to conclusions here.
Department of Child and Family Services.
10:42, 3 minutes. Medical's in front of me.
Recordings capture officials arriving to the scene when they see the 12-year-old boy's condition firsthand.
Hey, 314, the wounds on his leg are pretty good. 12X511, 314, medical is going to transport him. Said that his wounds are in need of immediate care.
Next, there's some confusion as first responders ask for a Rose Franke rather than Ruby Franke.
Confirming Rose Franke.
But officials quickly realize it's Ruby Franke that they're looking for.
I don't have any Rose Frankies coming back in Stillman or in Utah. I did find a Ruby Franke, which I sent to 12X11, showing an address out of Springville. However, only involvement is a traffic offense a couple days ago.
Additional first responders again comment on the boy's condition.
12X11, 314 as well. The child looks very emaciated.
Officials then discuss the next steps, deciding the boy needs medical care.
Or you want medical to hold off to transport to the hospital?
We need to get some photographs first.
10-4. We're going to have him hold here.
Yeah, if he's alert and breathing, just hang out and wait for us, please.
According to a press release, the boy's condition was, quote, so severe that they were seen by the Santa Clara Ivans EMS and transported to a local hospital. Eventually, the conversation comes back to Franke and Hildebrand over the radio.
After doing a little digging, it looks like that 27 I sent you for Ruby Franke is going to be the one that is associated with the Jody Hildebrand. They're both showing as therapists from Salt Lake and associated through social media as well.
Control 12X11. Does she have an address in Springville?
Yeah, 10-4. She's showing up in Salt Lake per her Facebook. Her and Jody both are therapists showing addresses up or locations for their work up in Salt Lake as well.
Copy, yeah. 10-4, that's going to be the mom. What's the address for that Jody Hildebrand?
Sorry, which address for Jody?
Do you have an address for her in Kansas?
Yeah, 10-4. She's just a few streets up showing the address of.
At this point, first responders search Hildebrand's home.
7 keyhole there. We're searching the house.
Both Franke and Hildebrand were arrested on August 30th and charged with 2 counts of aggravated child abuse. Those charges have since been upgraded, and now they each face 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. If convicted, that means they could spend 15 years in prison and owe a $10,000 fine. Right now, both are being held in the Washington County Jail. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Thank you, Sierra.
I think it was 854, 858. Man, they ain't got no damn road hot out here. This is where they live. All the other kids. This is Jody's house. Down here. It's a massive house. Yeah, y'all like, jeez. Hold on. Does that sound better? Can y'all hear me? You hear me, Tori? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Damn it. Hey, Torian, take over real quick.
Some days parenting requires
Y'all can hear me now? Man, I'm confused. Can you hear me? Hey, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, man. Hey, man. Are we good now? All right. Hey, man, it might be Torian messing me up today, y'all. Cause look, Torian ain't even responding, man. It might be Torian. You over there with that keyboard. I don't know what he doing with the internet today. Now I can see y'all ones now. I'm just saying, like, Torian might be throwing my channel off today. He didn't put the whole focus on my channel. If YouTube heard me talking shit this morning, they said, nah. You never get a smooth stream. You never get a smooth stream tonight. No. We not doing that. He ain't typing because his mic ain't muted. I don't know what he went to sleep. That's what he did.
uncomfortable conversations, bold confrontations, and lots of squabbles. Today, I have all three.
She's the YouTube mom going viral for all the wrong reasons. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Ruby Franke, the woman behind the now defunct 8 Passengers YouTube channel.
See, I'm telling you, watch this. How about now? How does it sound now? We good or we bad? We good or bad now?
And now charged with 6 counts of felony.
I told y'all it's Torian. I took Torian off and now it's good. It sounded like that's Torian, man. Y'all blaming me, got me unplugging the mic and stuff. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. Y'all got me over here tripping. I'm unplugging the mic, removing myself from the screen. Like, what the hell is happening? Why does gotta happen to me? YouTube, I apologize. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was my brother. It was my brother Torian. It should be a crime. Should be a crime to be on the panel and having everybody blaming me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, Torian was on here with that typewriter. Like, damn, Torian, we can hear all of that. Hey, when he starts commenting back in the chat, I'll bring him back up. But right now, we above water. I think he may have just had his volume up too much on the mic and it was picking up any background noise.
Child abuse. But let's talk about her potential defenses with renowned defense attorney Fortunato Perry. Welcome to Sidebar.
Oh, wait. I didn't want to play this one first. I don't want to play this one first because this is how she can get off. And this one we'll talk about the lawyers. But what I wanted to play was we got the phone call. Here we go.
You guys help Effie out. What's a mugshot?
Y'all talking about it's my microphone.
I'm not even built like that, Tommy. That ain't even me, yo.
That ain't even me, yo.
You guys help Effie out. What's a mugshot?
Newly released documents shed more light on the allegations of child abuse centered around YouTube mom Ruby Franke. Former FBI agent and attorney Bobby Chacon breaks it all down. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Let's delve back into the Ruby Franke case out of Utah. Just this absolutely disturbing story of a 41-year-old wife and mother of 6 who has now been charged with child abuse. In fact, she has been officially charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. Now, that name, Ruby Franke, may sound familiar because Franke was a popular YouTuber. Yeah, she and her husband, they launched this YouTube channel called 8 Passengers back in 2015. It was all about the couple and their children and their lives. Very popular. I believe it had over 2 million subscribers. It focused on parenting and homeschooling. And it was interesting because Franke and her husband are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And she also appeared on videos with her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, who founded a life counseling organization known as Connections, previously known as Moms of Truth. Here's a snippet.
Welcome back to Connections. I'm Ruby Franke.
I'm Jody Hildebrandt.
And today is part 3 of a series that we are...
Hey, bro, this is disturbing. I can't do the 2 butts on a cushion. I did. We are business partner, man. Look, we just take the camera back a little bit, zoom in a little more. You sit on this part right here. I sit on this part. All of this is a pause moment, but we talking real life situation. We ain't got to pause nothing. I just don't like this. This is terrible. Y'all not like little kids about to take a picture or something, or about to take a picture. Man, get on your own cushion.
Doing all about empowering you as parents. You are not going to get this kind of empowerment. You're not going to give this kind of permission anywhere else. And so today we are going to be talking about where we left off, which is, am I a controlling parent? Am I a hovering helicopter parent? Am I a Karen? Those are terms that have been put.
What does being a fucking Karen have to do with being a parent? You know exactly what audience she is talking to. Am I a controlling parent? Am I a Karen? No, you're a fucking criminal. That's what you are. We're not going to stop until you get the book. No, we're not.
Put out there by people who are fearful of control.
If you have a perception, my son comes home and says, so-and-so was bullying me, and I am a parent that I don't know about principles of truth, I may go to, well, I'm going to protect them, and I'm going to go over, and where's that kid that hit you? And I'm going to go hit him. I've seen parents do that. Or I'm going to go to the school and demand that my child is no longer in the same class, no longer in the same school with this particular person. And, depending on what the kid did, that might be absolutely reasonable.
And Jody Hildebrandt has also been arrested and charged with.
This is how I would dress. If they put me on Law and Crime, if I ever get an interview on Law and Crime, this is how I'm showing up. For real, for real. The unbuttoned shirt with a blazer on, with some shorts. You know what I'm saying? Because you're only going to see from the, from the chest up, that profile. But this is how I'm showing up. They bring me on Law and Crime. This is how I'm showing up. I might even wear my grill. You don't know. You'll never know with me.
These same crimes. Well, now, newly released documents provide more context of what happened here. And I want to go through what we think are 6 details, 6 really disturbing details from these documents. So let me bring in a very special guest right now to talk a little bit more about this. I'm joined by former FBI agent and attorney Bobby Chacon. Bobby, thank you so much for taking the time and coming back here on Sidebar. We always appreciate it.
Great to be here, Jesse. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, let's start with number one, the affidavit of probable cause. So we're going to start with, this is the first one, RF, who is this 12-year-old boy, climbed, this is what it says, he climbed out of the window of an Ivins residence. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ivins residence.
Hell no, Eric. I ain't wearing no damn free Trump. That motherfucker need to go to jail. You break the law, you got to go to jail. I was told one time, this is a true story. One time a president told me, a famous man once told me, if you don't have nothing to hide, don't plead the fifth. Don't plead the fifth if you ain't got nothing to hide. So when I heard Donald Trump pled fifth, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth, I said he got something to hide because he told us way back when it came to Hillary, don't plead the fifth if you ain't got nothing to hide. I'm not wearing no free Trump. We're going to free Trump of all them funds. Give it back to the people. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, he'll probably go to jail. He'll go to jail. They're going to have to make an example out of this, because if not, then further down the line, where will you draw the line at? You got to make an example. You're going to have to lock him up. He'll go to jail. Now, it probably won't be till like 2024, 2025 maybe. But he'll definitely be, he'll be locked up though. He's not getting out of this one.
Belonging to Jody Hildebrandt, and ran to a neighbor's home. RF knocked on the door requesting food and water. The neighbor observed duct tape on RF's ankles and wrists and contacted law enforcement. Upon arrival, law enforcement observed the wounds and the malnourishment of RF to be severe, and he was transported to the St. George Regional Hospital. RF was placed on a medical hold due to his deep lacerations from being tied up with rope and from his malnourishment. Now, Bobby, we knew some of those details or had an idea of those details before this came out. This, I think, crystallized it even more. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it sounds like a firsthand account of the responding officers when they got to the neighbor's house who called the police, and they see this child. They start questioning the child. The neighbor clearly saw the duct tape and clearly knew there was a problem. And kudos to the neighbor for calling the police. Sometimes neighbors can be reluctant to do that. They might try to return the child to the home. And thank goodness in this case, the neighbors saw enough of what looked like disturbing evidence on the child of abuse that they called the police. The police saw the abuse and took action, thankfully, in this case, because it could have ended up a lot worse.
All right, we want to thank Morgan & Morgan, the largest injury law firm in America, for sponsoring this video. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Have you been injured in a car accident? Now, there's another victim here.
I don't give a damn about Morgan & Morgan.
And you only pay them if you win. Less at www. Now, there's another victim here, okay? EF, 10-year-old girl, believed to be the daughter of Ruby Franke. She was found at Jody Hildebrandt's residence after RF, her brother, made contact with the police. EF was found to be malnourished, initially refused medical treatment, but after approximately 4 hours, EF agreed that Jody Hildebrandt was found to be in the direct care of her, and she was determined to be malnourished. She was taken to the St. George Regional Hospital. So you have another child who was kept in similar condition. What does that tell you that we have now multiple victims?
Well, it's a pattern of behavior that I would anticipate if there are more children in that household, there are more abuse. I think each child is being abused. I mean, we do sometimes see one child out of a number of children being abused specifically, but in this case, much like the Turpin case that happened actually out here in California, not far from where I live, you have multiple children all being abused in similar fashion. And what tells me, when you say that the 4 hours that it took the cops to convince this kid, to kind of be honest and say who's taking care of you, the parents have a hold over these kids. They have that kind of,
Am I a controlling parent? Am I a Karen? Am I a controlling parent? Am I a Karen?
Where I live, you have multiple children all being abused in similar fashion. And what tells me, when you say that the 4 hours that it took the cops to convince this kid, to kind of be honest and say who's taking care of you, the parents have a hold over these kids. They have that kind of, influence over the kid, and he didn't want to admit it. And so that makes these cases even tougher. Thankfully, for the 12-year-old you mentioned earlier, the first victim that actually escaped the house and went and ran to a neighbor's. So how long has this been going on? And it's a pattern of abuse. If there are more children in that house, I would expect to find similar abuse on those children as well.
It's disturbing to hear that this young boy got out, snuck through the window, was begging for food and water, and the restraints that were used. That I find concerning as well, the level of restraint. And I'm not sure what that tells us in terms of how long they might have been tied up, where they were tied up, why they were restrained. But you're kind of getting a picture that we didn't quite get before, right?
Well, absolutely. Even in the two cases you just mentioned, you have a 10-year-old who was compliant with the parents, who it took 4 hours for the police to convince to be honest with them. But you have the 12-year-old who actually, broke free from his restraints and climbed out a window. So I think that as the children get older,
hey man, that young boy, I think his name is Russell. That's a brave kid there. You got to give this young man all the credit. He got out. Yeah, he was reluctant to say, but he was scared. He didn't know what was happening, what was going on. But he saved his sisters and the other kid. We got to give this young man some credit. Especially when it's telling on your parents, man. Hey, man, shout out to Russell, man. He saved him and his sisters, because this could have went on forever and someone could have died from it. Climbed out a window, saved his sisters. Damn. And this is something he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life, because it wasn't a random person. It was his mama doing it. Kids ain't had nothing to do with nothing. She fucking ruined their lives, man. Well, actually, they saved themselves from her. Man, some shit, bro.
Saw this in the Turpin case. As the children get older, they start realizing this isn't normal and I need to get out of here and get help. But when they're younger, they don't see that because this is the only life they've known. So this is normal for them. This is not abnormal. As the children get older, that realization kind of comes more into focus, and then they take action. In this case, the 10-year-old didn't take action, the 12-year-old did. So it may have been an aging process that said to the 12-year-old, this is not normal. I need to get out of here.
And we're going to get to more points in a minute, but I just want to focus on something with this. How reliable are the children as narrators of what happened, or potential witnesses in a criminal trial against their mother?
Well, that's a good point. And I think there are very good specialists out there now that help prosecutors and help investigators. Look, if I had a case like this, I would not be interviewing these children myself. I would be bringing in experts that are expert in interviewing children and getting to the truth with children, because, children are brainwashed in effect by their parents in a household like this. And so I think that they're not reliable initially. And as you saw in this case, it took 4 hours for the police to get the child to even admit that Jody was his caretaker. So I think that they can be reliable, but it's a process. It's a process that's understandable, that should be turned over to experts that are interviewing children and stuff. So I think they can get there, but initially you're going to be dealing with a lot of psychological trauma on these children, and that affects their memory, it affects their recall, it affects their initial testimony.
Let's go to the third point, because in both of these examples, both of these children, both of these narratives, the officer added that Ruby Franke was seen on a YouTube video filmed in Jody Hildebrand's downstairs, which was posted 2 days before this happened. And this is why investigators believe that Franke was in the home and had knowledge of the abuse, the malnourishment, and the neglect of both children. So when we talk about what could be a potential defense for Ruby Franke, and maybe Ruby Franke
So a video 2 days prior to the arrest, she was in the basement. So there's no alibi. You were over there. You knew what goes on in this house. Plus, you're a business partner. And there's no way your kids can be malnourished and come back to your own home and you not notice that. But then again, she might not notice it because she's a controlling mother. She's a Karen. And she wasn't giving the kids lunch, man. This lady's different, man. They should get more than 15 years. They should be 15 years per kid. But the laws ain't set up like that, man. Laws ain't set up like that.
Throwing the blame on Jody Hildebrand, that aspect I think is really important.
Yeah, this takes it away from being like a kidnapping where Jody kidnapped these children and started abusing them into a kind of a conspiracy to do this. I mean, these women seem to be in this together. They did have their own social media business together. I think that Ruby Franke it's reported that she threw her husband out of the house last year. So she separated from the father of these children.
All right. So the husband is gone. Said they separated him from the children. Now, does anyone have any information about the husband? Of course, we're going to look into his information and find out. Is he a good guy or is the husband a bad guy?
And apparently it looks like may have moved in with her business partner because the children were clearly being held captive.
She moved in with, he's good, not involved. All right, so they probably separated, and then that's what? So they separated. She took the kids. He probably wasn't even allowed to see the kids. And she was doing all of this over at Jody's house. All of this is alleged. I know he upset. He hurt.
Active at that house, at Hildebrand's house, where who knows, Frankie was probably possibly a resident.
I am curious of what a defense could be, because in these kind of cases, it's almost open and shut. You're not dealing with an adult victim who can make decisions on their own, or
Kendall, we got to get it. That's what I'm saying. We got to get like a timeline. He may not been able to see the kids. She may have not said where she moved. You know, it could be a lot of stuff that was going on to try to cover all of this up. Because if he was just kicked out, maybe, like I said, I don't know the whole timeline of those TikToks and when the lunch thing happened, but it could have been like he probably started noticing stuff, and that's probably why they separated. Or once they separated, that's when she began to do it to an extreme level, because they were in the passenger van, and that was back when they were 8 passengers. So he probably didn't like everything that she was doing with the kids. And then she ended up moving out, and then she took it to the extreme when she had full control and got into the house with Jody. But we're going to find out after we hear everything that's going on in the case. We're going to find that out. Kendall just sent me a link about a guy that's down there in Utah. So we're going to watch through that. And we'll hear from a couple of the family members.
Consent to things, or walk around or text. You have a victim who is in the care and custody of adults. And when that child or children are found to be abused, how does Frankie or Hildebrand escape liability here? I don't see it. Do you see a united front where they're both going to be defending, or one is going to point the finger at the other, even though, again, based on the current facts, it's going to be very difficult to say one didn't know what the other was doing?
Yeah, I would have to think that they have to point the finger at each other, because the abuse is unmistakable and undeniable. And so I think that each defense is going to have to point the finger at the other. Hildebrand's going to say, well, Jody was the mother, Frankie was the mother, and so she had full control of our children, so she was really responsible for this, and I was just kind of following along. And then the mother will look at Hildebrand and say, well, she was my Svengali, I was under her spell, and I was doing what she was telling me to do. And that's how.
See, that's the defense I was looking at. That's the defense. She went over there and she got up under Jody and started doing it to the extreme. But yeah, I didn't even see. My bad, Eric. I didn't see that you said that he wasn't allowed to see the kids. I said earlier he's been trying to get custody from the beginning. See, telltale signs, man. Once I found, see, I thought the kids were just over here. Like she dropped the kids off and Jody was doing this. But it seems like Ruby was living here after her and the husband separated. And obviously he couldn't see the kids because now if they're malnourished, if they were when he was there, he would have noticed that. But all of the extreme measures that we're at now, this had to be done primarily over here once she got full custody of the kids or whatever custody she had over the kids. And now they, like you said, the blame game. But my whole thing was she just gonna say it didn't happen until she got over here because of what Jody, man.
How it happened. So I think you're right. I think the second option, the defense with them pointing the finger at each other, is probably the likely way to go.
Let's go to the fourth detail from these newly released documents. Miss Franke requested a lawyer and did not speak with us, meaning did not speak with authorities when she was ultimately apprehended. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's first common. Huge red flag. That's usually a red flag in almost any case. But when it's your own children and the allegation is abuse, I mean, you'd want, if you're not involved in it, in criminal liability, I mean, you would want to talk to the police, get to the bottom of it, find out what.
No, you don't. You still want to get a lawyer because the police will spend anything to get someone arrested. They don't care who did the crime. They just want somebody arrested. So still, always get you a lawyer. Always get you a lawyer because you don't know what this whole case is involving. Yes, your kids, you want to, hey, you'll help. You'll tell them the last place you saw your kids. But once you start going into detail, you still want to get a lawyer and someone with that professional background to actually oversee this so they can be in communication with the law, because sometimes you're not going to understand stuff and the lawyer can get information faster than you can get information from the police station. So still get you a lawyer in every single situation. Get you a lawyer.
Happen. Find out if your children are okay. Find out where they are. Try to see them. The fact that you lawyer up immediately, I mean, that's a huge red flag for somebody like me when you're trying to get to the bottom of it, and you would think a parent would go to the ends of the earth to protect their child and to find out what happened to that child and, go and try to get to the person that did this abuse. But when they lawyer up like that, I would think that they immediately knew that they were in some kind of legal trouble.
That means that we're probably not going to get an interrogation video, right? Like she didn't speak with authorities.
Most likely, if they have a lawyer already, if the lawyer's doing his job, and I hate to say it, but if the lawyer's doing his job, a good defense attorney, his or her job, but a good defense attorney would not submit that client to an interview or interrogation of the police at this point.
So as we talk about these details that have been revealed in these newly released documents, I want to talk about the fifth and sixth points. Number 5 is the fact that Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt, they've both been charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. And let's talk right now about the charges with respect to RF. Okay, so again, this young boy. Count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony in that the defendant intentionally or knowingly inflicted upon a child, RF, serious physical injury, or having the care or custody of such child caused or permitted another to inflict serious physical injury upon said child, and such serious physical injury includes physical torture. What do you make of that charge?
Well, I mean, they're looking at probably the restraints, and they could have found other things on that child's body. I've been involved in cases where you've had burn marks on a child's body, things like that, patterns of wounding and healing, and that's evidence of torture. Not just the binding. You could have other signs of torture, unfortunately, and often we see that in the emergency room. Will tell us you have both fresh wounds and you have healing wounds that happened previously in the same area or in the same pattern and stuff. And so I would imagine that some of the doctor's reports might indicate that there's a pattern of bruising and healing that has taken place on these child's bodies.
Could it also be something that RF said happened to him?
Sure, absolutely.
Little Russell.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be that. I mean, oftentimes these children are not very talkative, although in this case.
And how broad we talk about child abuse.
A child is in that category. So Yeah, again, the statute is kind of pairing all these things out, right? So it's physical abuse, the striking the child. It's another category of physical abuse as malnourishment and withholding food. And now there's this emotional aspect of it. You're emotionally harming this child again, like you said, in a developmental stage of their life, which could cause permanent damage. These children are probably going to need counseling for a long time to get them back up to a mental capacity where they can thrive, where they can learn, where they can be in school and do well and succeed and stuff. And now they are compromised in those areas now. And unless they get help quick and the right kind of help, it could be a permanent disability emotionally based on this type of abuse.
And again, these three charges with respect to RF, they're quite broad.
Damn. All right, we're not about to listen to Jesse Weber and Angenique Levy all day. Thank y'all for that information, gentlemen. Kendall sent me a link. We can go ahead and go to this link.
New tonight, and for the very first time, we're hearing from someone who created YouTube content with Ruby Franke and her family. We spoke today about experiences involving Franke, her siblings, and members of that friend group. Keep in mind here, a lot of allegations. We're continuing to learn more about the situation each day. Today, I spoke with a man who was described as in a previous report as an ex-Franke family friend. Here's his account on where things stand and his experiences with that family. Can you describe your relationship with that family over the years?
So with Ruby and the Frankies specifically, it's just acquaintances. I mostly knew the greater family with the siblings and the in-laws and that whole culture because they all work together and click together like as a whole unit as Mormon family vloggers.
And again, that was in the state of Utah, correct?
Yeah, so when we started to do family vlogging ourselves, we met them at YouTube conventions. And then when we moved down to Southern Utah, several of Ruby's family came down, collaborated with us, and one of them even moved down. And that's when we got to know them a lot better and started going to meet them and see them behind the scenes at private parties and see what they're really like.
Right now, a couple of child abuse charges against Ruby and her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt. What do you make of those charges?
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me. While I wasn't aware of any overt abuse allegations like that are coming out now about Ruby. I think that a lot of people remember going back 4 or 5 years ago that it was Bonnie who was in the middle of a lot of attention and even had to go to YouTube headquarters and try to explain herself because a lot of her YouTube content showed her children having bloody noses and split lips, getting stitches and broken arms and fingers and going to the hospital frequently as though it was a form of.
Who is Bonnie? Who is he talking about? Unless he accidentally calling Ruby Bonnie, who the hell is Bobby?
Clickbait to try and get views to their content. And it created an entire division on YouTube where ultimately they had to split from YouTube Kids to YouTube for Adults. And it affected a lot of content creators and should have stopped this. But apparently what you see on camera is not what you always have going on behind the scenes.
To elaborate on that, what Ruby did we see on camera versus the Ruby that maybe you saw when the camera wasn't rolling?
I think that out in public and socially, unless you see them in a personal situation, like at a party or when they feel like they can let their guard down, what you're seeing on camera is a totally different person and a totally different life. There's an agenda to try and portray themselves as upstanding Mormons and to have that persona, and they feel like it's fulfilling who they are and their purpose in life and everything. And so I think that creates a pressure cooker situation where they're willing to live a double life and hide a lot of generational family secrets. And we see that with Ruby, coming out right when she gets caught with all of this and accused, blaming her kids and throwing them under the bus for the abuse, instead of realizing who the adult parents are in the situation that are supposed to be home all day 24/7 as family vloggers supervising all of this. I think the end of my marriage all began when our family started associating with Ruby's siblings, and when all of this behind the scenes stuff went on, it really compromised my marriage. And the same.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't know what this dude is talking about, man. I'm listening to him now. He talking about his story. Hey man, we want to know what was Ruby doing behind the scenes, brother. We don't care it affected your marriage. We didn't get on here to ask you about how you're living. We want to know specifically about Ruby and her family behind the scenes. No disrespect to you, you got your story, but hey, get to the point, please.
Pattern that you see playing out in some of these other families happened to me, and I'm not the only one that knew this family and met them and then ended up divorced about a year later under a similar pattern.
Have you ever had a conversation?
Now he on here, he just said she was blaming everything on the kids. Now he over here blaming everything on her for his marriage being fucked up. See, at some point we got to draw the line. That's why when we say over here, we don't care about your personal life. All we want to know is, can you get the job done? We don't care who you are, who you talk to, what you do. We don't care about none of that. Can you get the job done? Can you tell us about Ruby behind the scenes? We don't want to hear that you fucked off your relationship, man. We're not trying to hear that today. We are over here acting like professionals, trying to find out what's going on behind the scenes. We bring you up on the screen and we give you a second to tell your story. You start talking about your marriage being messed up. Man, what does that have to do with the kids? Them ain't your kids. What does it have to do with you? It wasn't a what? What is he talking about? Fellow YouTuber, I tell you one thing, YouTuber, we not YouTubing your channel. Not today, not tomorrow. You ain't getting to the point. Well, y'all know, I did have a marriage, but once it all started, let me tell you something. Me and my wife, we went from having every 2 weeks we would go out to eat on a dinner on a Friday night to we're not even seeing each other no more. It happened to several of us in the town. Man, shut up. What was Ruby like behind the scenes? What is he talking about right now? He blaming this on Ruby now? Now, man, my marriage would have worked. Now his story for the rest of his life, man. What happened to your first marriage, man? It got messed up. Did you hear this story? Now he's gonna always relate it to this story. Man, your marriage didn't end because of this story, bro. That thing was already ended. Now you just like, man, the hell with it. Let me get on here. And because what did he do? He talked about the people that were doing clickbait earlier. Man, I know what he's doing. No disrespect to this brother, but hey, we see what you're doing, man. You doing the same thing they were doing. You trying to get some, yeah, I had a story to tell, man. If you don't get that watched wedding that didn't happen, marriage that didn't succeed out of our face and tell us what Ruby was doing behind the scenes, we got like 30 seconds left, man. And you ain't told us nothing. You didn't have any information. You didn't say you seen anything. What are you even on here talking about? You have no significance to this case unless you got some footage at the crib, unless you've seen something behind the scene that you can testify on. Right now, you're as good as me being on here being interviewed. I don't know anything that went on. Now, I try not to have these rants on the people, but what is he on here for? What are they interviewing this gentleman for? Man, he better. We got a minute left. Let's see, man. No disrespect to him. I apologize if he says something after this, but if not, man, I'm gonna be upset.
Conversation with Ruby that stuck out to you in any way?
The one conversation that I personally had back and forth with her was very strange, and she was kind of portraying out different beliefs and ideals and trying to give advice about what we should do with our YouTube channel and things like that. And I actually had kind of an awkward disagreement and argument with her at a restaurant over dinner, where I disagreed with her parenting styles and some of the things that she said in the conversation about the church. And I basically defended my reasons for leaving the church and that it wasn't going to hurt my kids.
have you ever had any conversations with her husband, and where do you think he fits into all of this?
I never really met him. He was always, whenever they were around, he was either never there or just kind of like hanging out in the background, very quiet.
I guess we should have probably read the title. YouTube vlogger Carl Anderson blames association with Frankie for the breakdown of marriage. What does you arguing with Ruby at dinner? Why were you even at dinner with Ruby? Yeah, why were you at dinner with Ruby is the question, married man. That's the question we need to know, Carl. See, this started off about the kids. Now you done drug yourself in here. Now you done drug yourself in here. Now people about to be investigating you. If you were married, why were you having a one-on-one dinner with her? He briefly said it was about the kids, but then it went on to what we going to do about our YouTube channel and leaving the church. What information were you going to give us about Ruby? This was all about you. This is supposed to be about the kids. But you're talking about your marriage and a dinner that you had with Frankie, Ruby by yourself. You never met the husband. So that means the dinner, he wasn't at the dinner. It was you and her. Was your wife there? Or your wife don't know about the YouTube, so it just needed to be the two YouTubers beating up Mr. Carl. See, now you done brought your ass in this, and people about to look you up, Carl. Let them find out you've been messing with Ruby since her and the husband split. You're going to jail too, Carl. You're going to jail too, Carl. Because all of this is alleged, but allegedly it sounds like you may have been trying to mess with Ruby. And you didn't agree with what the kids were doing, but you knew all this time. But y'all were messing around. She didn't do nothing. All this is alleged. I'm just saying, Carl, you done drug yourself into this nonsense. Now, if you had something to do with this, Carl, or you had information, Carl, it's best you come forward with that information, Carl.
The FBI? Yeah, this the FBI.
Because when they go searching, or if she get to talking,
Gonna, I'm gonna tell.
it's over. And I'm going to be right there in court waiting for the judge to say life. Man, what was Carl doing? What was Carl doing? Having dinner with her, never met the husband. Let me see, Kendall, because that's on somebody's YouTube channel. So that's why I played this one, because this is a news article. But the one on the YouTube channel, I mean, you know, some people, they might be trying to hit you with the blam blam. Let me see. Call out husband kid. Spill show. All right, well, we can try. I mean, if they cut the stream, man, oh well, it was a good run, y'all. If they cut the stream, it was a good run. Let me play this real quick.
Danny, thank you. Some developing news now. Ruby Franke's family reportedly wants her to stay. Danny, thank you. Some developing news now. Ruby Franke's family reportedly wants her to stay behind bars. The YouTube star is accused of aggravated child abuse. Her sisters-in-law told the Daily Mail that she'll lie and say anything to save herself. They describe her parenting methods as super strict, but they add they did not know about the abuse and had not even seen Ruby in about a decade. If she's convicted, her family says that she should be, quote, put away forever. That's according to the Daily Mail.
So they probably got the actual sister. We just heard him just basically reading the statement, but let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Carl Anderson. Man, I'm upset about this Carl Anderson guy. Wait, let me see. Wait a minute. What is he saying? Ruby Frank's husband, Kevin, blames YouTube partner for wrecked marriage. So was he talking about Jody Joe? Here we go, Kendall. This might be something here.
Children is speaking out. Tonight, the sister of a Utah family vlogger charged with abusing her children is speaking out. Ruby Frank's sister posted the video response on her own YouTube channel.
News special Shelby Lofton tells us the claims that she is making after this arrest. Shelby?
Mike and Dini, this is really the first time that we're hearing from a family member who was really close to Ruby Franke. Her sister, Bonnie Holeen, her sister's name, made regular appearances in her sister's vlogs, and Ruby regularly made appearances in hers. Holeen says that their relationship drastically changed 3 years ago, and today she's breaking her silence.
What my family and I have gone through the last couple of weeks is the worst thing that has ever happened.
Ruby Franke's immediate and extended family are known for putting their daily lives online. Her sister says so much was kept behind the scenes for years.
We did not have access to anyone.
Police say they found 2 of Franke's children in the basement of her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt's Ivan's home, emaciated with wounds all over their bodies.
It makes me tremble because it is unheard of.
Bonnie Holeen says she thought Hildebrandt and her business connections were extreme.
It was complete indoctrination.
She says as an aunt, she did everything legally possible to protect the children.
And for those that were saying that they'd go in and bust down doors and do whatever it took to end up in jail, because from jail, I can't do anything.
She points the finger at her brother-in-law, Ruby's husband.
It was Kevin's job to check in on things, and he did not.
He was just simply following what she and Jody were telling him.
Kevin Franke's attorney says the father of 6 did whatever Hildebrandt and Ruby told him to.
He was being berated and belittled and torn down by Jody, and constantly being told he was selfish and greedy and he needed to repent.
Kester says Ruby told her husband to move out of the family home.
If you want to stay married and you want to patch up our marriage and make things work and help our children, you'll stay away.
He says Kevin didn't see his children for a year. Kester.
Man, I already know it's hell to talk to this motherfucker, boy. She's talking bad to Kevin. Kicked him out the house. That's why he ain't see the kids. The kids were over at Jody's house. He got kicked out, man. This man, ooh, he's weak. Damn. I didn't know she was talking bad to Kevy Kev. Damn, man. She took advantage of that, man. The only way you want this marriage to work is you move out. So she did. I think it was Michael that said she was taking out the anger on the kids. Man, it's fucked up. Won't they do it? Won't they do it?
Kester says Hildebrandt brainwashed Kevin.
He's trying to seek professional help.
Franke's sister says there's more than one person to blame.
Ruby and Kevin and Jody and connections have been destroying our lives offline.
And Kevin Franke's attorney told me that Kevin has reached out to some of his extended family members, including Bonnie. He says he really wants to repair those relationships in order to move on with his life. He was not able to tell me if Bonnie received that request or responded to it. I'll send it back to you.
All right.
Damn. Oh no, Kevy Kev. We might have to call you locked up, Kev. You sound like you might need to be a part of this. Sounds like you might need to be a part of this one. You may have not physically done anything, but we do know that the kids weren't eating while you were living there. Allegedly. Because we seen the video during the 8-passenger, Jay, and they just told us that you did everything she told her. Everything she said, you did. That's what your lawyer said. So you were in on it and you never reported anything. Even after you got kicked out, you didn't report anything. That deserves some time, man. Them are your kids. Them are your kids. And your sister ain't gonna lie on you like that. Your sister ain't gonna lie on you like that about the kids. No. This is serious. And if your sister feels that way about it, if I feel that way and your sister feel that same way, yeah, man, you might need to be a part of this, Kevin. Might not get to 15, but you need to get 5. Damn. Oh, no problem, Kendall. Man, shoot. Y'all send it to me. I'll try to find it. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. What y'all think about Kev? Y'all think Kevin is in on it at some, like, he may have not been the one that was physically doing any of it, but him not reporting anything, the kids not eating. Man, for me, that's both of y'all. Man, you'll know if somebody's mistreating your kids when you're right there. Man, there's parenting and then there's just overdoing it. It's just overdoing it. But she asked us, are you a controlling parent? Are you a Karen? The signs were there. All of us, if y'all would ever send me their channel, hey Mo, watch this connection. I would have told y'all straight up from the beginning, because I am who I am. This is some bullshit. I'm not watching this stupid shit. I would have, once I seen 2 people on one couch cushion, I knew it was dumb. Like, not making light of the situation, but just those 2 together, I would have said, man, this is some stupid shit, man. I'm not watching this. I'm glad that people were trying to point it out. So even in 2020, people were at least trying. It was only 239 people on the petition. But at least people noticed it and they were trying. So again, Russell, you were the hero. You were the man of that family. If you disassociate yourself from your family, that'd be, hey, we would be fine with that. Hope these kids can get the help that they can get. Because right now they are set back, man. They set back for. His mama need to get more than 15 years, man. Damn. Hey, Torian, we know you fell asleep, man. Hey, you went to sleep back here. You went to sleep back here. They all talking about Mo. It's your microphone. I'm like, man, that ain't me. It's Torian. Everybody, nah, Mo, it's you. You up underwater. I'm like, dog, I'm telling you, it ain't me. Torian, man, it's gotta be him, y'all. We heard that damn keyboard, man. That keyboard was going crazy this morning. This is all we heard this morning when Torian went to sleep. Like, damn, Torian. Just chill for a little bit. Just chill for a little bit, man. We relaxing right now. This is a no work zone. No work zone. Everybody chilling right now. Not Torian, though. Not Torian. Torian was over there getting it. But man, this is Ruby's story. So I'm gonna keep track of this. I don't know if we got any dates of when court will be. Let me see. And if we're going off the FBI, the former FBI agent, Kevin got a lawyer. So if he got a lawyer, then we got to look at him as a suspect. Because everyone is a suspect. It's unfortunate. Even if you ain't got nothing to do with it, everyone is a suspect until you're removed from the board. And that's in real life too. So I do say get a lawyer. Always get a lawyer. You know, help out where you can. Yeah, last I seen my kids, I dropped them off at school. Give them the information you can. Give them a current picture or something. But you still get you a lawyer. But they did none of this. They did none of this. She ain't talked to nobody. The kid got out, said that Jody had him tied up over there. He saved his sisters. Man, this kid climbed out of a window. Climbed out of a window and saved his sisters, man. Man, you got to be brave for that. Regardless of anybody think. For a 12-year-old, probably been dealing with this his whole life, but now it's to the extreme. He said, nah, man, this is no. We're not supposed to be living like this. So I commend the kid. Damn. Shout out to Russell. Shout out to Russell. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. It's 3:34. I might be able to do a Tubi. Nah, I'll do a Tubi tonight. So I'm going to go to the crib. You know what I'm saying? It's Thursday. Probably go to the crib. You know what I'm saying? See what they talking about. It was my nephew's birthday on Monday. My brother's birthday is tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? He ain't watching my live right now. I got him some Jaguars gear. So I got that sent to my mama's house. I'm going to give him his gifts tonight. Yeah, man. But we're going to do a Tubi movie tonight, more than likely. And then we got the first reaction for Power on the main channel, MoeDotJ. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. This is Ruby. 8 passengers should get at least 8 life sentences. We'll figure it out one day. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. It's been a good run.